There's a very funny insect that you do not often spy. And it isn't quite a spider, and it isn't quite a fly. It's something like a beetle and a little like a bee, but nothing like a woolly grub that climbs upon a tree. Its name is quite a hard one, but you'll learn it soon, I hope. So try anti-wanty, gongolope.
Hello, I'm Libby Hathorn, an Australian writer and poet, and today I'm really pleased to be able to bring to you the much loved and very, very funny poet and short story writer, C.J. Dennis. He was one of the best-loved poets in the land during his life, loved by adults and children alike. There were no computers in Dennis's day. Instead, we have manuscripts and letters, paintings, photos. They're precious treasures, and a lot of them are here at the State Library of New South Wales. Clarence, Michael, James, Stanislaus, Dennis, I think I'll just call him CJ, liked to laugh. And he liked to make other people laugh too. Check out the binoculars. Look at the expression on his face. CJ often looks and sounds more like an actor or a clown than a poet.
I'd like to be a barber and learn to shave and clip, calling out, "Next please," and pocketing my tip. All day I'd hear my scissors going, snip, snip, snip. I'd lather people's faces and their noses I would grip, while I shaved most carefully along the upper lip. But I wouldn't be a barber if the razor was to slip. Would you?
CJ was born in South Australia in 1876, and like many of our early poets, the love of the bush was something that stayed with him forever. His father ran country pubs in Auburn, Gladstone and Laura, where he spent his boyhood. His mother, who was often ill, died when he was only 13. CJ loved to write and worked on school newspapers like the Weary Weekly at Gladstone Primary, and then Interesting Scrapes in high school. This is how many writers like CJ got started. By 17, he'd had a whole range of different jobs, from wool classer to law clerk. He was sacked from one job because he was caught reading a book at his desk. Soon he was back working at his father's pub, the Beetaloo Hotel. After a falling out with his dad, CJ took off looking for any old job, but he fell ill and had to come back home to his two old aunts. It's 1903 and CJ was in his 20s before he saw his first poem published. It was called Urry, and it was about an overworked girl called Matilda. Urry, of course, means hurry, but this was a poet who liked to use the vernacular or the slang of the time. So he drops his H's, and LOL, he uses the expressions of the time. Just listen.
Now, Matilda, ain't you dressed yet? I declare the girl ain't up. Last as usual, move yourself, you sleepyhead. Are you gonna lie there lazing while I now put down that basin?
So Sheila's for girls, hooroo for goodbye, and glossaries at the end of his books explaining things to the genteel or posh people. Australian readers loved his works. With his famous Songs of a Sentimental Bloke, some sections were published in the Bulletin magazine as early as 1908, then in a book later in 1915. It sold an amazing 60,000 copies and was republished again and again. It was turned into a stage play, a movie, and even had a postage stamp made. In a stroke of incredible luck, CJ teamed up with the talented artist Hal Gye, who did the illustrations for the Sentimental Bloke. Hal Gye later illustrated CJ's The Glugs of Gosh and many, many other works.
Follow the river and cross the ford. Follow again the wobbly bridge. Turn to the left at the notice board, climbing the cow track over the ridge. Tiptoe soft by the little red house. Hold your breath if they touch the latch. Creep to the slip rails still as a mouse. Then run like mad for the bracken patch.
As for the Glugs of Gosh, just look at the dreaminess of the Glugs town that CJ's mate Hal Gye brought to life. The Glugs were meant for both kids and grown-ups. Maybe you'd like to write and draw about a world like Gosh sometime. But the call of the bush was too strong. In 1908 he left the city and he camped in the bush at Toolangi near Melbourne. He also spent time in an old tramway bus at Callista, where he wrote The Sentimental Bloke. At the outbreak of war, CJ returned to Sydney and met Olive Harriott, another writer. They married in 1917 and lived at his beloved Toolangi, where he built a house and spent most of the rest of his life. Olive said she never saw CJ happier than when he was writing for kids, especially their son. A book for kids in 1921 was really famous. One of my favourite poems shows CJ's love for birds and kids. It's as if he's talking to his own little boy.
What do you think I saw today when I arose at dawn? Blue wrens and yellow tails dancing on the lawn, bobbing here and bowing there, gossiping away, and how I wished that you were there to see the merry play. But you were snug abed, my boy, blankets to your chin, nor dreamed of dancing birds without, or sunbeams dancing in.
Even though he was a successful author and poet in his day, life didn't always go smoothly for CJ. Readers' tastes had changed, and the huge sales of his early books just didn't last. In later life, he suffered from alcoholism and depression, and his health deteriorated badly, and he died at 62 in 1938. But his poems live on, and there are many memorials to him.
Hist! Hark! The night is very dark, and we've to go a mile or so across the Possum Park. Step, light, keeping to the right. If we delay and lose our way, we'll be out half the night. But come along, creep along, soon we shall be missed. They'll get a scare and wonder where we... Hush, hist.